a secret to your success. Success is relative, but I always tell people that I'm unapologetically selfish with my time, space, and energy, right? And so I just assume everybody else is unapologetically selfish with their time, space, and energy as well. That's one of, in terms of focusing and finding your passion. So I'm assuming I value your time, your space, and your energy, and you've given your time, space, and energy to be here tonight, and we want it to be worth it to you. So ask for what you need, get what you came for. Born and raised here in Columbus, Ohio. My entire life, I used to live in the Cayman Islands too, this little island close to Jamaica and Cuba, if you heard of it. Moved back to the States in 2000. Spent a lot of time in Uptown, 136 in St. Nick, right? So going back and forth to New York my whole life, but I'm a Buckeye through and through. I didn't come home one weekend with a New York accent like, yo, I'm from Brooklyn. You know what I mean?
That's
no.
pretty good.
Right. No, I'm a Buckeye through and through. Proud. I gotta say, while I'm in my city, which isn't often, I am a proud product of the Columbus City School District and the Columbus Recreation and Parks Department. Those are two entities that really created me and helped me form and helped me find my passion, my purpose. And another, I'm also a product of an organization called Youth to Youth, which is a leadership program and drug prevention program for middle and high school teens. And so that was started right here in Columbus in 1982, and is still going strong. It was supposed to be a county-wide funded program, and now is in about 37 different states and 17 different countries, going on strong to this day. In fact, I have to leave here after our happy hour and go do a presentation for them because they have meetings every Wednesday night with about 50 young people from across the city. So I have to always put that out there. Finding passion and purpose, and for me, it's about finding your identity. That's two of the biggest questions. Who am I and why am I? Right? And what I tell people all the time, if you don't know who you are, you start taking suggestions from other people, right? And I really, and if y'all are from Columbus, I grew up on the hilltop, the real hilltop, and then when I was in high school, moved out to Long and Champion, before gentrification, way before gentrification and all that shit started kicking in. So, I got shot when I was 15, all kind of stupid stuff that I've been through, just trying to figure out who I was, where I was headed, and what my purpose was. And so that's what and it took outsiders, caring adults in my life, coming into my life and speaking into my life, mentors, elders, people older than me, people beyond me, people that were at where I was trying to get, or were headed where I was trying to go. And I don't see, like, as human beings, we're a communal species. I don't believe, this is Javier's opinion, it's not gospel, there's no such thing as a self-made man or woman. To me, if you claim to be self-made, you're either lying, forgetful, or inconsiderate, right? Self-made millionaire, billionaire, all that bullshit, no, it's not true, because somebody has to buy your product, right? You're not self-made, right? So you have to have support from others. And so one of the things that's helped me get where I'm at is always having mentors and elders and people a lot smarter than me, a lot further along than me, people that are more invested in, and these are people, this is a quick tip, write this down. Find people or connect with people that are more invested in their legacy, right? They're in what I call the legacy stage of their life, where they're looking to leave a legacy, right? They're out there. And you'll find them in universities, you'll find them in corporate America, you'll find them, in retirement homes, right? Because a lot of them have retired, right? Look to connect with people that are really in the legacy stage of their life, right? That can help you get where you're aspiring to go. So I have a company called Reach Communications, Reaching Excellence in Attitude, Character, and Health. We're a health and wellness marketing firm or behavioral change marketing firm. We do all our marketing campaigns are focused on our most vulnerable populations and particularly in the areas of health and wellness and addressing the issues of health disparities, educational disparities, social disparities, and bridging the gap between awareness of opportunity and understanding access. Because that's what, in marketing, especially behavioral change marketing, what historically we're very proficient in is awareness of opportunity. Yeah, we did a lit drop, and we posted all these posts on social media, and we canvassed this zip code or whatever. and you know. So really proficient in awareness of opportunity and very deficient in understanding access. Just because you give me a flyer or a brochure doesn't mean I understand how to access your services, right? Especially when you're dealing with Black and brown communities who are from the oral-based tradition. We're an oral-based culture, and so it doesn't mean we can't read. We read very well. We invented writing, and but we like to dialogue and debate and communicate orally. While we're in one another's space. And so that's what my company focuses on. We do a ton of work here in the state of Ohio and outside the state of Ohio. Actually, we're starting to work in South Africa on some mental health stuff that's really dope, so I'm excited about that. But California, New Orleans, New Jersey, Baltimore, Philadelphia, Chicago, and Ohio are our sweet spots. And I got into this work. I'm an artist and a performer. I do stand-up comedy, believe it or not. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna lean to the not side, right? And I have a TV show. You guys know that. I didn't even have to tell y'all that. Y'all know. Y'all watch Columbus Neighborhoods, right? Yeah. Silence. Who said yeah? You really watch it?
Yeah.
Then you know me.
Oh, I know. Oh. Okay, so I haven't seen all the Columbus.
Okay. I am Emmy-nominated host. I am Emmy-nominated host. I was nominated 2 times for an Emmy for Columbus Neighborhoods. Thursday nights at 8:30 on WSU TV, right after Broad and High, right? Yeah, I was nominated twice for an Emmy. It's real wild. True story. The first time I was nominated, I was picking my daughter up from dance, and she starts telling me whatever was going on here today that I really wasn't interested in. And I was like, hey, before we go, just real quick, from now on when you talk about me when I'm not around, I need you to address me as your Emmy-nominated father, right? Like if you're, like, you know, instead of saying my dad's picking me up from dance, I need you to say, like, my Emmy-nominated father is picking me up from dance. Instead of, like, I'm going to spend the weekend at my dad's house, I'm going to spend the weekend at my Emmy-nominated father's house, right? That's how I need, she's like, you're Emmy-nominated? I said, yeah, I'm Emmy-nominated. She's like, a real Emmy? I said, yes, a real Emmy, a real Ohio Valley Regional Emmy. She was like 12 years old. She tapped me on my knee like, oh, that's cute. Like, same statue. But anyway, so yeah, I do all this stuff. I do stand-up, and I've written 2 books, and I work in film and TV, and I run this marketing firm. People, and depending on the day and how I felt, I would oftentimes wake up, you know, some days, you know, I'm having a good run doing stand-up comedy, and I'm on tour at all the Funny Bones or whatever. I'm like, yeah, this is my life. This is what I want to do. Then another day I'll get an email from a studio saying, you know, we want you to work on this script, because I'm a script doctor, so I do punch-ups and edits and rewrites for scripts. And I'm like, no, this is my life. And you know, depending on the day and the email I got or the invitation I got, my passion or my purpose would shift. And I found out that I was really okay at a lot of things instead of really good at one thing. And so a friend of mine, one of my mentors, suggested I read a book called The One Thing. If you haven't read The One Thing, I don't know who wrote it, I can't remember, but Google The One Thing, you'll figure it out, right? And it's this really dope book. And I tell you, I didn't have to, I read the whole book. It's short and it's easy to read, but I opened the first page and I was like, oh, I get it, I'm done. I don't even need the rest of the book. There was this quote, this is Russian proverb or something. It said, the man who tries to catch 2 rabbits doesn't catch either one. I'm sure I screwed all that up, but you get the point, right? And I was like, oh, I get it. So I had to figure out what my one thing was. I read the book, I worked through this process, and I came up with my one thing, which is impact. That's my one thing, is impact. So now everything I do, whether it's comedy or storytelling or marketing or whatever, it all has to come back to that one thing for me, which is impact. You know, Columbus City Schools had an impact on me. Youth to Youth had an impact on me. My mentors at Columbus Recreation Park had an impact on me. And I've been so impacted, I'm compelled to give back to the community. And in terms of purpose, I believe our purpose is to leave people on this planet better than how you found them. Whether you're an artist, whether you're in innovation, business, leadership, whatever you do, whether it's your passion or your profession, your goal and your mission should be to leave people on this planet better than how you found them, right? And so, for me, it's impact. So now when I do stand-up, it's got to. I don't do comedy tours anymore. It's got to be connected to like a cause or a benefit or something bigger and beyond myself, right? You know, when I work in films, the film has to be something. You know, I've done a lot. I've done horror films and, you know, some crazy stuff that has nothing to do with nothing. Now the films I work on have to be about purpose. and have to be about impact. And it really just narrowed my focus and helped me operate in my element. And I'll leave you with this: like you're operating, you'll know like what Kevin talked about, like when you know that you know something is off, you know that something's on when you're doing what you love, doing it well, and doing it for the right reasons, right? That's when you are your most radiant and attractive and successful self. And when you're doing what you love, doing it well, and doing it for the right reasons. And so that's where the space that I'm trying to live in right now and stay as close to that as possible. And I'm a work in progress. I ain't got all this shit figured out, but I'm figuring it out and I'm enjoying the journey. So that's me and what I do and why I do it.
Thank you. I of course have one question. So as far as that one thing, that impact that you focus on, if you can sum it up in like a couple quick steps for individuals who may be kind of on that journey to find, okay, what is that one thing that really drives me? How did you come to that conclusion?
So, like I said, I knew I had taken so much from my life experience. I knew I had taken so much from my community in terms of just extraction. Like, because of the life I lived as a teenager, like I did a lot of damage. I sold dope, I got in fights, I was in all kind of stupid shit, right? And so I knew I had done a lot to bring harm to my community, and I wanted to do good. I wanted to make up for a bunch of the shit I'd done, right? And so, and I wanted to, make up for that shit, right? So I wanted to do things new, different, and better, and that's what drives me. I feel like I've done a lot, and to do that, but that's really what just drives me to, and then again, talking to some of my mentors and people that share with me, make it your mission to leave people better than how you found them. I kind of adopted that as my mantra. This is what I got to do. And you can do that in any space, I believe. Again, whether you're an artist, I think in terms of purpose, like we all fit into one of those three categories. If you think about any job or profession or pastime or career or whatever, I think you're either an artist, you're an innovator, or you're a leader. Artists, we know artists do. Innovators, that's business innovation, health innovation, education, political, whatever, corporate, whatever, all systems, innovation, all these kind of careers fall into that category. And then leadership, whether it's political, spiritual, community, family leadership, we all fall into one of those or more of those three categories. And so as an artist, what are you doing to add value to this world? As an innovator, in whatever business you do or whatever work you do, how are you adding value? How are you making yourself memorable? And then as a leader, are you doing more harm than good, or are you adding value to the lives of those you are connected to and those you are charged with leading? And so just having that mindset of add value, always add value. And it seems like common sense, but especially when you look at a lot of corporations, like, it's with the rise of the industrial age and all this shit, like, that wasn't a focus for a long time. Corporations would extract, deplete, and exploit without replenishing. They're the people that work for them, or their customers, or even this planet, right? So we've seen that. We've seen it go the wrong way, and now you see more and more and more, which gives me so much hope, is individuals and corporations and organizations doing the opposite, seeking to add value. And so that's I hope that was a long answer.
Yeah, no, that's good though. I like that call to action.
Okay. Cool,
yeah,
cool,
that's
cool.
great. Anybody have a question? We can do one question. Anyone?
Cool. Oh, yes.
Jerry.
Javier, so it sounds like you're traveling all the time between the comedy and the movies and all that stuff.
Yeah, man.
How do you keep that sense of place here in Columbus if you're on the road all the time?
So actually, when my son, I'll give it real quick. My son started high school. My daughter started middle school. I said, I got to flip this. And so so that was about 4 years ago. So I said, I'm going to be very intentional about, because of kind of how circumstances went, I kind of, for lack of a better word, blew up nationally and even internationally, and got a lot of national and international exposure really quick, really early in my career. And so I started out there, and then as the older my kids got, the more I wanted to pull back and become more Columbus focused. and I was part of the Ray Miller Institute for Change and Leadership about 7-8 years ago, and that really grounded me and rooted me and reinvigorated my passion for my own community. And so I set out. I said, you know what? I gotta bring this work that I do out there, bring it home, and just started doing the work to make that work and make the connections and seek to add value to my community. And people recognized it, noticed it, and said he's worth keeping around. So let's find more and more opportunities to keep him around. And I actually learned that when I did a fellowship with the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, and my mentor, who is now my business partner. I knew it was a 3-year fellowship, and this is one of the things I learned was I knew it was a 3-year fellowship, and I knew he was getting a stipend every time we met. You know what I'm saying? As part of the fellowship. So, and I knew after the 3 years the stipend would go away. So his investment in keeping me around would potentially go away. So I said, for these 3 years, I have to add so much value to your organization, to your company, that when this thing is over, you want to keep me around. You got to find a way to keep me around. Right? And that's what and one of my other mentors said, do that. And I did that. And so that's what I started doing with Columbus. I started making it my mission to add so much value that people would have to find ways to keep me around.
Awesome. Alrighty, give